What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. It's another installation of the Siege Double Shot. We're coming at you E4 Day 2 style. I am the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run. Say hello, Whiskey.
Welcome everyone to Element 4 Qualifier 2 Day 2. This is the start of the end. Quarterfinal tonight, best of 3 between two teams that I think have got a lot of unspoken words in the team names and the team logos tonight. It is going to be a great one getting to see these two teams go at it. Now, I know we talked about it yesterday. We'll bring up that seasonal structure one more time, just so if you haven't been a part of the Element 4, you haven't seen how this is going to go. We've got a lot on the line, and this is the second of the two qualifiers. 5 teams tonight going to be qualifying to join those 7 invited teams and the 4 from qualifier 1. And there's a couple great teams in there, but still a few spots left, 5 to make it to win the $30,000 tournament, my friend.
Right, because that was the CL4L not going to be part of that invited team, and so now they're having to make a lower bracket run. That'll be exciting to watch as that unfolds. But a best of 3 for us tonight. Let's take a look at exactly who we got on the board. Loyalty is Scarce versus Garage Talks. Boy, a couple of names you know in there, eh, Whiskey?
Yes, and I know we said it. You check out these logos. There's a lot that is that's not being said out loud. And I said on Twitter, maybe you don't recognize the teams, but you're going to recognize the names: Mr. B, Mike W, ALX, Prios, and Epic on the Loyalty is Scarce side, with Tomas, Uzi, Repus, Phantom, and Zim over on the Garage Talk side. This is going to be a banger between these two teams, and it's unfortunate only one can make it through the upper bracket. The other, at least, not eliminated tonight, going to the lower bracket to do battle.
The lower bracket battle. Who's going to get sent down and how we going to get there? Looking at map bans here, Border and Lair, no surprises there, going to be taken off the board. Bank and Consulate to go, which means the great equalizers, both of them on the board here, Clubhouse and Chalet as map 1 and 2. So we're going to start out in the double default and taking along Night Haven and Skyscraper to get taken off the board means Cafe going to be our third and final decider map. It feels very default as far as map bans are going.
Yeah, no Lair, no Consulate, no Night Haven as sort of the new entries in. And it had felt like we were seeing more Consulate and Border even as part of entries in. So you said it is going back to the default maps. But it is time. The game has started, and we are heading to Clubhouse to start this thing off.
Okay, Clubhouse, you've heard me talk about it many, many times before. What do we love? What do we hate? Well, this is default incarnate, right? This is the same moves going to be brought out every single time, and you can tell by the way that the bans are going down. Get the Monty off the board because you don't want that garage presence. You don't want that presence down dirt. I imagine it's probably going to be the Ying next, although Loyalty is Scarce is the ones attacking first, so they could want to play with it. But that util dump is just so ferocious, it's hard to deal with. Instead, double up on shield duty, both Blitz and Monty off the board.
Yeah, like you said, it not surprising to see the shields gone. The number of times we've seen Monty banned, I mean, near 100%. Everyone waiting for the release of Year 9 Season 4, the time, the opportunity to change up how those shields are going to be used, and everybody looking forward to that, plus the addition of Blackbeard. Now, Mira, we talked about Mira not being available for Clubhouse, changing completely the way that those sites and the game is played. Love seeing her as a ban, actually, because it really changes up a lot of the default strats that you see.
Yeah, and just want to clarify, I don't know that everybody is going to be happy about those shield changes, right? If you can see no limits tweet, you know that it is going to be the year of the bully, because now you don't just die. Now you get tossed around. It's going to be humorous, that's for sure. Okay, so you talked about it. Shields off the board, Monty, Blitz, and Clash to go, making sure that no sort of shields outside of Fuse or the first iteration of Blackbeard can be used. And no joke would be to do it. So if I had to guess,
Defenders, protect your bomb.
start up.
Defused by attackers.
And there it is. A little bit of a classic hold here. One of the two players left on the board, or two of the two players left on the board for the defense, a little bit has been our standard band. We're going to be able to see them tonight, Valkyrie and Azami.
Yeah, the Valkyrie and the Azami, I mean, been banned so often that they were absolutely considered the default bans going into most of these maps. So to see them being available and, of course, being played, Clubhouse, both are very strong on this map. It's interesting that Clash was the one that made it through. I think that's maybe a little bit of target ban. For sure, these players know and have played together and against each other a tremendous amount over their T2 and T3 careers at this point. So there's a little bit of knowledge, I think, even recent memory. So going to see them prep this castle door, but yeah, I wonder whether or not the Clash is going to be the answer from a defensive ban perspective. Very interesting, like you said it.
I don't think so. Right? That's such a strange band, but oh well, we're gonna get into it anyways. Double up on the breach duty. Is Ace and Thermite gonna be utilized here? And it's the open sesame strat, right? It's exactly what you see when you're heading into gym bedroom. Get that cache CCTV opened up, get construction opened up, hot tub and the logi and the highway windows, and then just press and press until they get backed into a corner and you catch them on the rotate back inside. It's a standard, it's a classic, and it's what we're seeing here as well. As they're already starting to force some of these players back into the construction areas. You can see it's basically given up all of that cache CCTV real estate already. Now, we do have some spoiler down below. Valkyrie, if left to her own devices, will C4 the hell out of any attempt to get an implant.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a bit of the strategy, right? Let this loyalty is scarce team gain a little bit of real estate, and if they can stack up, look at this, you're talking about 2 or 3 players right on top of each other. If there was an opportunity there for Valk to be able to toss the C4, that was it, because now they're spreading apart. Boy, that seemed like a huge opportunity there as they were on the soft floor in CC.
Well, for some reason, I have got you doubled up here in my... Actually, I've got all kinds of doubled up sound here.
All right. Hold on. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure why that would be, but hopefully somebody can tell us that everything's okay on the stream side from an audio perspective. That would be great. But as we're watching this one work its way through the round 1, and yesterday it was all best of ones as you start off with the element 4. So this is the first best of 3, the opportunity for everybody to pile up here. And right now, loyalty is scarce, going on a tear, shutting down, winning some gunfights with the double for Mike W, and a flawless to end it. Complete, I mean, a little unexpected as we saw sort of a standard setup from a defensive perspective, but they hit all their shots when it counted.
I am gonna have to stand by here, Ron. I can hardly think. It is so crazy. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be live Siege without some live problems, so appreciate it. Thanks for the chat for chiming in, letting us know it's fine, at least on the stream side. So that goes 1 in the attacking favor here on Clubhouse. 2 great teams, though, so as we start off on this one, which one is going to be sort of the leader, right? More of our games yesterday were a little bit one-sided. Talked an awful lot about how good at least one of the teams, that CL4L Part 2 team, was yesterday, playing that one through. These were in the quarterfinals. We're down to the top 8 teams left in the upper bracket, and all of them very good to have made it this far. So loyalty is scarce, take their first. This next one going downstairs to the basement, and even though we've got the mute playing in upstairs in gym, put down the mute jammer in that bathroom stall. No Scopos to try and protect there. Going to be protecting, I think, likely himself. And looks like right now nobody else upstairs in that spot.
I love this strat, Whiskey, and it's become the accepted norm lately, right? Is send the mute. You're playing Church and Arsenal, send the mute upstairs. And his whole job, play life, waste time, get that shotgun to take out some of that that roamer capability that you're bringing to the table, and it works. It's effective. And if you got a smoke who can gun with a shotgun in his hand, you're wasting a minute and 30 here to start us out, or at least sending a full group of people upstairs and then having to clear all the way top down to start to be able to put that pressure on. Now, when you have the Azami, the Cade, and the Valkyrie as the backups after the Mute gets taken down off that top floor, then you still got a ton of time waste on the board to be able to take him down. Now, look what he did. Phantom pressure, set up everywhere like he was going to hold it, and now retreated back down to the basement. So it's all just going to be ghost pressure. They're going to be fighting demons up there.
Ghost pressure, I mean, certainly an important part, and we said both of these teams good, but the complete bunker back strat down with basically 2 minutes left in this round seems a little bit premature, but you've got the Azami, you've got the Aruni, plenty of utility burn operators here. I thought we would see the Mute stay up there a little bit longer, try and fight it out, but Loyalty is Scarce working on the combo opening of those doors, and now working on opening up those vertical sight lines and clearing some of this utility out.
Yeah, W moves, right? So C4 is going to ring out as Zim's going to find Epic off the board, and that's one of those dangers of keeping Azami alive. Now, there is a second in place as well, and because Mute has already used his, but Kate still ready to send it should they start going to open up that hatch. Now, he sits on the church. He's looking for that push down the main staircase where he can just catch a flood at the last minute. And as we're sitting, he's sitting in a prime position to start getting that done, especially as he's going to get the cue that they're going to start opening it up. So Hibana to retreat back. Ying going to be the lone soldier to try to hold on against this Cade superpower sitting on the other side of the church wall. 43 now as it starts to count down. Does feel like it's defensive favored, but they're starting to send in some of the gusto. And there's a Ying Candela. That's going to make some chaos there for Cade. And Zim's going to find Mr.
Wow.
off the board as the zombie goes down. Now puts us into a 4v3 as the quick shots are going to answer again. Alex gets taken off the board. Now puts us into a 4-2. Low health scenarios. The Buck gets ripped off the board by the DMR. Now into a 2v1 as two go down. Ying the last alive to get it done. And is going to find a Rooney. Now puts us into a 1v1 showdown. 9 seconds left.
No way.
The battle for Moto here is in existence. It's a triple kill for Brios. He's going to take it, and he's going to start going for the plant. This is a tough one. No C4 to stop it long, but they've got the cue. They've got the signal. They've got the green light, and they say go.
Yeah, what an execute there at the end. We were stacked up, I mean, 4v4, but then the two downs on the defensive side. Huge for Brios to pick those two up and then clean up those kills at the end. I thought for sure we were going to see another attacking win there, but defense holds out, just did not have enough time to try and get anything done except for get the plant down. There it is. Garage Talks picks up their first, and we are tied up even. As a basement win for the defense. Now, going to see that upstairs. 2F played one more time. We saw that back on round one. Loyalty is Scarce picking that one up.
Okay, one apiece as we head back up to the gym bedroom. I'm going to try it again with a little bit of a switch up to the strat here, right? Bring Castle for the windows. Take away that pressure to catch you, rotating, slow it down with the bandit and the tuber out, and of course the static warfare of Azami, the architect, on board to help stop that main push in. See if they'll have a little bit more success this time as they go through it. Still going to be dedicated some to that double breach, although this time Ace, Thermite, and Maverick to be utilized here. They're really going to focus on getting everything opened up.
Yeah, you need sight lines against this team to make sure that. I mean, that was one of the main reasons they lost that first engagement was just losing. They were losing gunfights across the board, whether it was on the stairs, whether it was from the windows, whether it was from the comp push in. From a Loyalty is Scarce, that's how they won it. Want to make sure they get all of that opened up again, and this time they don't even need any hard breach on the CC side. They left that one wide open. But what was this? Did ALX fall off the roof, or was that a shot?
think he was shot because if it's just onto that little balcony, you're not getting taken down there, right? So sends out a C4 to try and stop this Maverick from getting in through the backside, but not gonna happen as he is able to get out of there. Does he have? There is any more? Yeah, there's 2 more C4s on the board to be able to send it, but they've got to be close enough to get the job done. So instead, they're gonna get that opened up and wait for a soft breach. Looks like Thatcher to come over and make quick work of that hot tub wall.
This they're forcing, putting the pinch move here on the Tubro, but he rotates back. He escapes from the cash room, able to rotate back and cover Logi. And I don't think we've seen the Logi drop not ready yet here from the attacking team. But with the Thermite and the Ace, they've got definite cash side control at this point and looking to gain control in Con. Oh, he's got his back turned. Wow.
There you go. Pay the price. 4v3 now is the last minute and 22. Going to start to play out, and it does feel a little defensive side as they're trying to get through these Mav holes, but a C4 is going to say goodnight again to Epic as he's going to find himself the victim twice now to a launched devastation from the safety of behind the barricade. So now into a 4v2, Ace and Thermite, the last alive, looking to catch one to try to equalize or get a little bit closer on the numbers here. They are quickly running out of time to do so.
Yeah, 51 seconds left. That's still plenty of time here for this team. They still have got drones available, right? They still have got 8 available for them to be using at this point. Finally taking another one off the board, but tons of intel to be gained by this attacking team. They've got to win their gunfights, though, at the end of this in this 1v3.
Yeah, and he's pushing up. He does get the down onto the Tubarao, but he's going in towards the bathroom area. He's going to play spoiler here, his own little flankers. They're going to go try to get a zombie back up and put back into a 3-1 position, but he gets sussed out now on the cam, so he's got to get around and just start going for the plant, and so he's going to do it. He's going to take it to 50, but they're rotating around, and look, he has the presence of mind. He gets one.
Oh, they traded!
Back to trade.
Wow. To come all the way down to that close and get the trade. I mean, we're definitely seeing right now that loyalty is scarce. Objective-based gameplay when they need to, right? Getting the plant down, using it as a tool. Saw it in the basement, saw it upstairs. But Garage talks on those last 2 rounds, just coming up when they needed to, winning specifically when they needed to. And the fact that we've seen so many downs over 3 rounds, that's like 4 or 5 players that had been downed and stayed alive. So plenty of shots hitting their mark, just not all of them finishing at this point. So see the defense pick up their second, go a little bit forward, and rather than try their hand, oh no, I guess at this point they've won 2. They won the basement, they won the 2F, so now they get the opportunity to play out the turf site. And I know you're sad about it. No bar stage yet, but not going to get your hopes up or dash them yet at this point. It's still early.
That's true. That's true. It can still happen. Fingers crossed. But you talked about the number of downs that were going on. Defense going to adapt a little bit. Look who's on the board. Doc's going to make an appearance. He's going to, not only is he utilized, of course, for holding on to that catwalk, right? A real power presence to sit behind those Cuba barriers as he can withstand that fire if the timing is right. But those down players not going to be an issue as much any longer. They didn't take to that same strat on the other side of it. A quick run out through the kennel doesn't amount to any sort of kill, but does put pressure on, does let them know that they're going to be making that push, and we still have a zombie close. And she's going to try to find a pick, get rewarded for her efforts, but nobody there. So double runouts on both sides of it. Neither one's going to see it as only one person, the Thermite, is on that side to take that gun battle.
They've got to be able to catch this drone before it gets over and maybe identifies that a zombie's playing so close, but Thermite doing a great job. Mr. B in the right spot, up on top of that balcony, making sure not going to be vulnerable at all. Worked on getting that wall open, and then what a shot on Uzi. Take him down from the long range out on the balcony. That bulletproof looking him right in the face, though, giving the opportunity maybe for a run out, but looked like a zombie. Oh no, zombie is down. Holy cow. Right now, loyalty is scarce, coming up very strong a minute into this round.
Yeah, so find themselves into a 5v3 situation. You can tell Doc still sitting in that garage, and a little bit of that play from below is going to take some health off of Legion, but he's going to open up and ask for a Doc stim, but not going to be able to happen as Mr. B just deletes him off the board. So now into a 5-1 situation as Mike W finds one, Mr. B to find another, and let's call it flawless on the tie-up.
That was a 3K there from Mr. B. Just gained control of the platform and then just never let go. Got it open, able to take out the 2 garage players and one more that tried to cross that open space right into the waiting arms of his scope. So unfortunate there from the Garage Talk side, but tied up 2-2. A little bit of back and forth between these two teams, and we are early. If you're just joining us, this is a best of 3 between these two teams. We are in the quarterfinals here for the Element 4 Open Qualifier number 2, day 2. The semifinals will be coming up after this game on a different channel, but we've got to make it through the quarterfinals here to start with. So we're early in it. 3 maps, Club, Chalet, Cafe, all going to be played out here between these two, and right now evenly matched as we head into round 5. 2-2, my friend.
That's right, 2-2, but here's the deal. Loyalty is Scarce has got their quota filled for this first half. They've got their 2 wins. Now anything outside of this is going to be icing on the cake, or as you would say, gravy on potatoes. So it's going to be on Garage Talks, right? It puts the pressure on to be successful on this defensive half. You got to find the next 2 wins unless you're going to bring that same aggression that Loyalty is Scarce is bringing to the table. This is going to be a pivotal round here as they take it down to the garage. A little bit of dedication to the verticality here. No real extension outside of a zombie up on that first floor. So, you know, I guess because it is a zombie, we're going to call it an extension. She can really lock in some of those hard to reach areas. But it's got the area denial in the hands of the smoke and the slowdown push from Fenrir. Not a bad defensive setup. Couple of C4s to try to rack the opportunities of creating that verticality inside of the kitchen. And they only brought Buck to do it, so going to be standing close for that sort of action.
I mean, Buck at least has got a little bit of range there to try and open up some of that floor. Interesting, we know Ram is so good of an attacking operator here on this one, but like you said, going to rely on Mike W and the Buck, and sitting at 5-2, and with Mr. B at 5-2 as well. Both of those guys starting off with a great start. Now, you said it's interesting. So far, both times we've seen this site played, Garage Talks opting for the bunker down strategy rather than any sort of even shallow roam at this point, and relying on those C4s and some guns to get inside and hold it once they get there. The Cade trick coming out just a hair too late. They're going to get that moto hatch open.
Oh, look at the shots from Blue. They're starting to put the pincher on everywhere. And is that church wall? Oh, yeah, it is. Never mind. Okay, I see the barricade.
They got one. Like, yeah, they've got one.
I was like, wait a minute.
Fully open.
This is a weird strat. So they are opening up everything now that they've given free roam of the first floor. Going to get close to try to put the pressure on whoever's trying to stop that hatch play, right? He's looking for that Cade Claw to come out and be a second stopper.
Oh!
Instead, ALX going to find the first kill onto Uzi as Cade goes down. No more claw trick in there, as the body balance does get handed over to Loyalty is Scarce, but get the answer back. Zim able to find the kill onto the prone ALX, puts us into a 4-4 situation as the clock starts to tick down. 50, as they got to try to find this blue pressure and remove this Fenrir from the board.
It's going to be tough. He's hidden, and he doesn't have to push out at this point. Right now, the attacker's finding a couple peeks, but having this church wall open, that's huge. Hibana has the diffuser going down with 30 seconds left.
Yeah, they're just going to go ahead and plant. They said, you know what, if you're going to give us the space, you're going to give us the real estate,
no way.
Give us the territory, we're going to take it, and we're going to plant it. So a post-plant scenario here is going to see Epic take the first kill on to Tomas. As it Mike W to find a second now into a 4-2, a retake that's tough as the flashes start coming out, the pressure being put. Fenrir getting a ton of damage, does manage to push up and get close to equalizing as Mr. B gets his body shot filled full of lead there, but does hold him off. As now they've got the Azami. Now they're in a position to potentially do it, but it's a 3v1, so you're going to have to take on at least one of them to be able to get going. Not going to happen. Pistol popping, body dropping is going to see Azami take it down.
That's right. Repas looked like he had an opportunity Not going to happen though. The church wall being the place that the execute happened, and Hibana able to walk right in. I mean, to me, having that wall be so open appears to be more of a danger there. It requires a ton of utility from either Hibana or Ace to try and get huge sight lines opened up. And as she was working upstairs, losing a lot of that utility, you know, I wonder whether or not leaving church that open was a good call.
It's doesn't seem like it. Hindsight being 2020 doesn't
Attackers
quite
need to
seem like
locate
it.
and defuse as many bombs
So
as they can.
3-2 is where it sits. One away from the end of this half, and yeah, loyalty is scarce. They find it on the attack side of it. Not completely unexpected if you have a well put together attack team, right? As somebody who knows how to take that space and how to do it with the buddy system, could potentially see a 4-2 split in the opposite direction of what we're used to. Either way, for this last round of the half, Whiskey, they're going to say run it back, and they're bringing almost the exact same lineup outside of the two brow going to be on the board as
10
well now
seconds
to help
remaining.
slow down that vertical pressure that's just seemed to be so outstandingly impactful.
5 seconds to go.
Well, in the teams that are good at using the two brow, I think we're seeing a lot of teams that start on attack banning the two brow as an alternative just because he is such a pain to deal with. Right, slowing it down, making it difficult. Now, the double up there for the reinforcing that church wall rather than only one, I think a good call. But look at that. That's another reason we see Mav banned on Clubhouse specifically. The absolute silent entry there. Two quick shots, open up the barricade, complete control of strip. And if they had any of the defenders holding on to that area, I think they would have definitely been surprised by the Mav making the push in. So right now, though, again, no pressure, nothing upstairs, no shallow roam, everything downstairs. And to me, Loyalty is Scarce read that very quickly in the previous round and didn't spend any time needing to clear. So I think, again, maybe a tiny bit of a misstep there from the Garage Talk side, not having any pressure upstairs to try and slow this attack down. So a minute into it, they're working and have plenty of opportunity to just work on getting the hatches open with no pressure from upstairs.
Yeah, I think that's going to be probably one of the differences we see, right? I imagine when we see Loyalty Scarce head up to their defense, it's probably going to be a little bit more dedication to that extension, to that roam game, right? A lot of times we'll see you've got one player up on the first floor and maybe one or two up on that second floor as well for a Church Arsenal hold, which really does the thing that you want. You delay the time, right? You force that really quick 30-second execute, and with C4s on the board, makes it incredibly difficult. You can already see Uzi's got his hand on one prime prep and ready to send it should they start to get close here as the last minute and 12 starting to count down.
There's been a lot of C4 kills as well. I mean, rolling into this map, I think we had seen 3 kills already by round 6. Having, one every other round, that's a pretty good rate here between these two. So, and you said it. Cade holding on, just waiting to make a phone call and wipe one of these attackers off the board. Combination with that two brow as well to slow it down if they can get to, focus on that main wall. But looks like they're redirecting, going to focus on the kitchen drop as opposed to that main just because they know a lot of defense piled up there waiting.
Yeah, but look at this Azami. The Azami hold with the smoke to back it up inside of dirt. It's 29 seconds left. We're 5-all. This is about to be an absolute bloodbath. So the prone drop is going to find one. 2 of them going to go down as ALX starts to respond. But just like that, Thatcher going to be the last alive. 15 seconds, and there is going to be no hope of a return there as Garage Talks is going to just shut down that plan. So the thing that we were talking about, Whiskey, is being important at having that roam and having that extension. They facilitated the same way, right? It still was a 15 or 20-second drop because they still had to work through all of the layers of protection that they had there on the defense. So different strat to get there, but in the end, it was the same sort of last second push, which does take us to a 3-3 on the op swap.
Yeah, to me, the late execute, which maybe a little bit of a misstep there by the Loyalty is Scarce team, right? We talked about very early on, a minute into that round, recognizing that they're working on opening up the hatches, getting all of the sight lines in place, no pressure upstairs, nothing they needed to worry about vertically from the second or on that first floor, and yet it still came down to a 20-second execute at the end, right? And it didn't seem like they were even in place and ready, didn't feel quite as coordinated. You had Garage, you had Habana drop in the hatch, but nothing to prevent Cade from taking those shots. So, yeah, right now, both teams, and neither one of them playing terribly. Both of them are playing very good, and we're seeing good siege because it's tied up 3-3 right now. Each of the teams taking advantage of the missteps, even slight, between these two teams, and converting it into round wins. So 3-3 half. It's not the standard split right now. Maybe a little bit of advantage to the Loyalty is Scarce, but I'm certainly not counting out the Garage Talks team because very good so far on Clubhouse and very evenly matched. This is a great game, my friend.
Yeah, and this is exactly kind of what we were looking for, like in a default map.
What a
right?
run out!
This all
What?
the way out there. Huge run out trying to find something. But so look at how this extension is happening, right? You've got Oryx all the way up on the second floor. You have Valkyrie and Vigil, who was there to help on the first floor, and Smoke up on top in the up top in construction. Goyle the only one down in the basement area. So this is exactly what we were talking about when we were talking about a spread out defense for the basement, right? Give yourself avenues to get back home and just waste time. Now, the exchange does go out. You do lose Vigil in the first minute of gameplay. Not a huge loss, right? I mean, his job is to really eat up time. So they ate up some of it. They're going to force him to re-drone. But first floor is going to be had here. So the double rotate down by Oryx and Smoke puts us into a bunkered down strat position. But they do still have to deal with that first floor presence as Valkyrie is still up and around to play spoiler here.
Yeah, and so close to there to getting an impact trick on the kitchen hatch, but just misses it. Unfortunately, from the Loyalty is Scarce side, they almost had that hatch tricked and stopped, but Garage Talks manages that utility, gets it open, even though they're down in the round count. But look at this, needing to take out the Valkyrie. How did she survive that? Epic wins the battle.
Wow, seen the Matrix, knew what to do, eluded the bullets, and now it's a 4v2, a drop down into hatch as tries to find something to put together, but gonna be completely shut down. Gadget's still on the board, the double rings out there at the end. It was gonna be a tough push down into basement, and that's exactly what we were talking about, right? Send out the horde, send out the masses to hold up the first and second floor, just waste all that time, and then make them miss when they come to go for that last minute execute, and that's exactly how we see Clubhouse played out on that last round.
All right, so Garage Talk's taking their time out here on before the start of round 8 after losing that first defensive round. I mean, it's early. We hadn't seen a lot of teams taking timeouts as we played through most of Element 4, but we've gotten to the point where you've got T1, T2 players here fighting it out for this upper bracket semifinal spot. Going to use that timeout and make sure they're figuring out what's the right strategy here. So I like the call from the Garage Talk side. Like we said, they're just taking advantage of some of the little mistakes. I think right now it's feeling like as this game is playing out, the team that is going to make smaller or fewer of those mistakes is going to be the team that takes this, at least this first map, in the way we've seen it, because they're so close at this point. Going upstairs to the 2F, seen a lot of basement. That was 3 rounds in a row between them. We haven't seen a gym defense except back on round 3.
Okay, yeah, dedication to that first or that basement floor. It is the desired site for most teams, so take it up to the gym bedroom. No castle to be had here, but they are going to lean into that similar strat. A zombie going to hold down that gym bedroom area. Only one bit of hard breach going to be utilized here. Is Cade going to be on the board? So they are going to extend, but it's not going to be that all-out hold, right? That's not going to be the arcade tricking to try to stop and hold on to cash. I think you'll probably play a little bit farther back and rely on that bunker strat towards the end of it. Fenrir to guard this Logi position. No Twitch on the board to take those down, so they're going to have to rely on the Thatcher to potentially stop any of those Fenrirs as they get in. Now they can't be shootable now, right? You can take them down even if they're closed. So not the scariest thing, but you can't hit what you can't see, and Purple Smoke is going to stop a lot of that.
Well, and doubled up, right? Two of those Fenrir gadgets going, one to prevent the push in from the construction side, one to prevent the hatch drop. So in either case, the defense doesn't have an angle to gain access there to Logi without walking into a Fenrir. So one of the reasons why he's definitely banned out here on Clubhouse more often than I think on some of the other maps. But there. Look at that. Mike W taking advantage. They can't drop Logi when they've got that smoke in play, and he wins that battle.
Yep, and that's going to take the Ash off the board. A little bit of a low health scenario here for Gabe, but now they're going to be able to stop or open up that hot tub, open up that bathroom, and really start to put the pincher move on here. It's a little bit of a scary situation if you're backed into the corner here on Gym Bedroom, but because there's no castles to help stop that flow, but nobody there to take that gunfight. So he's going to just be relatively free and head back into the bathroom and continue to be that menace on the defensive side.
All right, so they're going to open up the con single here with 1.5 minutes left, but still haven't flushed out the Warden from playing in construction. Plus, Mike W still holding on to that Logi angle. So seeing this attacking team rotate around, maybe push a little bit more from the cash side here, but Reapa's going to win one. That was an important one to finally take down. And, I mean, holding on to the top red, that was that construction player that they needed to clear out to make this Logi push and the construction push a little bit easier. And now they've got some highway control without having to worry about it.
That was the play right there. Right?
Wow.
That was the play. That's what you had to stop.
That was it.
Valkyrie was on the rotate. She was on the scenic route to play spoiler from underneath, which we had seen happen already. So realizing that not everybody was there taking that engagement, he turns around, finds the shot, and that's going to be the body bounce now put into Garage Talk's hands. Starting to open up into that Logi. Still going to have to flush out this Azami and Fenrir, who are holed up in bedroom, and they've got plenty of stuff to hide behind. Those Kiva barriers being just absolutely devastating, but it's starting to get low on the time, right? It does get sussed out on the BP inside of Logi, so this 4v3 situation is going to potentially bring about some mistakes, some quicks, and there's some Fenrirs that are going to go off and make it tough, and there's going to be the swing, pay the price for not exactly knowing Mike W to find Uzi off the board. Now the rotate does get solid, or found out solidly, and that's going to be onto the bathroom. 4 seconds left. Brios to find the double to clean it on up. That was the exact process. They held on, they made you miss, they wasted all of your time, and then when you had to run in, you had the Fenrirs you still had to deal with, which caused some easy swings. Sheesh.
All right, so we saw Garage Talks be successful on they won basement, they won the gym, won basement twice. Out of the 3 times that we saw played on defense, and right now they're struggling on those sites from their side, and unfortunately the timeout buff not effective, right? A lot of times we talk about the team taking that timeout, winning the next round. In this case, Garage Talks losing that one. Although it was close, you said it came down to it. Brios getting a double at the end to shut it down. It looked like the attackers had everything they needed, at least enough control, but you said a lot of hold there in the bedroom with the rotate into Logi, and ultimately that final battle happening over there on the bathroom side. Loyalty is scarce. Just came up with the wins, came up with the rounds and shots when they needed it, in what looked to be an overwhelming scenario for them. But good play, good execute from Garage Talks, but not enough when they needed it. So now another 2F site we're going to see happen, and again a real spread out play here from the Loyalty is Scarce. But I feel like, look at this, taking some extra chances. This rarely works, especially when the attackers know that spawn peak is coming.
Yeah, gave it a shot though, right? A little bit of pressure. So what does that do? It slows them down. Maybe you didn't net yourself the kill, But now you have to be wary about it if you're an attacker, right? So did bring out spoiler again. Valkyrie is going to take back down to below to try to get that C4, to try to stop any sort of plant from being able to come in. Now, they have got that a couple of times successfully. Found out that Valkyrie. So gonna be looking for it for sure. And look at that. That's gonna be the first kill. Cade off the board. Mike W. life forfeit as Ash finds the first one.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the similarities between Nighthaven and Clubhouse all the time with those main breaches and the ability for the attackers to try and protect the map as he's opening up, whether it's that IT wall or in this case, the CC wall. Off repel there, so the Mav opens up that line. This time Repas holding the repel and is able to take out Mike W. And that's unfortunate because Mike W is sitting at 10 and 4 and 3. Having a great game so far. So the top frag off the board. One of the better opportunities we've seen here from the Garage Talks team. But we said that when it was a 2v4 at the end. ALX. Huge kill to even it up.
Yeah, that's what the Valkyrie's for, right? Playing the spoiler, playing the gotcha. It was a slow creep up. Secret was able to find the kill and equalize onto the numbers. Now, it does take down the entry, who's already got their job done. So back putting the pressure onto the regular bit of attack squad here, as they still got to find a way to force this. I was just to say force this Doc out of there, but instead they're going to get it for free. Brios to find another one on a Phantom does take us into a 3-3. Into a 3-2 as Mr. B's able to take Zim off the board. Now a 3-1 as Mr. B finds himself the double. A tough situation if you're Garage Talks, because now you find yourself in a 3v1 situation. Is going to find the kill onto ALX, now putting us into a 2-1. Flashes go out as he starts to push up, but it's the drop down. Mr. B, give him a triple. We'll call it 3.
His second triple of the game, I believe, or potentially, yeah, his second triple of the game there. And once again, we talked about that seeming like it was Garage Talk's best opportunity. They had set up, taken control of Garage, or at least had pushed out the Doc, won a couple of those early gunfights, and then it just all fell apart. So close for this team, but right now, loyalty is scarce on match points here for the first map in this best of 3. So they have won 3 in a row on defense, looking very strong, maybe more typical of the Clubhouse defense, the standard split. But that was even the tertiary site, the full round rotate done. We're gonna go back down to the basement for the 5th time today in this map, and loyalty is scarce, hoping to close out the first map in this best of 3 right now. If you're a Garage Talks fan, it's time for this team to step up, show why they belong to be here before we head on to that second map pick of Chalet.
Yo, let's go. Okay, so on the defense, what are they going to do? They're going to stick to a similar strat, switch up one of the operators to do so, but is going to still play that same role, right? Pulse going to be on the board instead of Valkyrie. Get a little bit of that active intel where you don't have to be switching to your cams to see it, but there is still the extension, right? You can see Tubarao actually making their way back down. Mute, the only one left up onto the first floor, and I wonder if it's going to remain that way, right? Are they going to still double up on this hold here with Warden and Mute? I like the call. I think it's the right one, but sometimes you see him getting back a little bit quick. Look at this. Pulse, gonna see him going towards the backside of it, knows exactly where he's at. A little bit of a cheeky play there as the wall gets opened up, but nobody there to take the battle. I don't think they were expecting him to be in so close.
No, and Pulse definitely hoping to catch this attacking team slacking a little bit. It's one of the things we hadn't talked a lot about, but Clubhouse was the Garage Talks pick. This was their map, Chalet being the loyalty is scarce map pick. So if they head into Chalet with that being down on their map pick, starts to be a very dangerous scenario. So right now is the time to change this thing up. But what a push in there from Zim, taking down Brios. That's huge.
Yeah, huge play. Completely caught unaware in oil. Now he's going to rotate all the way back out. Gets his pick
What?
and
What?
then starts to get back. But then push in through the window. Find Mike W up on the first floor as well. Does put the pressure onto the defense here. C4 to ring out as Tomas gets ripped off the board. Scattered over the kitchen area. And Ying to find their life forfeit. Now as ALX finds one. Back to the oil pit here as they're trying to take that battle back and forth. No chance to escape as Pulse gets taken down, his body getting filled with bullets. 3-2 it now sits in a low health scenario for both of these defenders. Holding on to the long, one with the C4. Not going to get it through the right area. Doesn't use the trajectory arc and finds it forfeit, right? No, unless they try to push in and he's still alive. That's deployable off the board now into a prone position. He's going to try to take it, and there it is. Uzi to get one, Zim to clean it up.
Okay. We said Garage Talks, this was the time to shine, the time to step up, and they heard and delivered. Match point still. We still got a couple more opportunities here for Loyalty is Scarce to shut this thing down on match point. 2 more opportunities, though, for Garage Talks to try and win it, and they have to extend this thing to head into OT on this first map. So it is their map pick. Going to see what they can do here on attack. They take the basement for the first time. That's where Loyalty is Scarce is going to head back to. A 6th time we're seeing this site played out on Clubhouse. That's a lot of time spent down in the basement here.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, it generally is that preferred and desired site, right? Is because you've got so little avenues to attack it. There is a couple that you can push down, but the verticality is having to be had. You have to get that verticality. You have to establish that first floor presence on both sides, the defense and on the attack, although it leans more implications onto the attack side of it because you got to drop those hatches. You don't want to be just walking down the stairs, but it's generally harder to push, right? So on the defensive side of it, they're going to switch it back. And they said, you know what, Pulse wasn't quite it. They're going to bring the Valkyrie back out. They're still going to get active.
Look at this. Mike W.
Whiskey just is not going to let it go. He wants one so bad. And he's going to try to play spoiler, but you can see they're going to get some drones out and they're going to take a look.
Oh, wow!
Oh, my Lord.
He actually got some damage. Doesn't get to kill, but gets some damage there. Well, that was just happening very slowly for kind of this level of gameplay. That was a slow engagement between those two. But it also, to me, says that Loyalty is Scarce is completely fine and has been fine taking chances. And I think that leads into the level of confidence they're feeling right now. So, again, they're on match point. They've only got to win 1. Garage Talks has got to be perfect for 2. So they can afford to take a few chances. I don't know that I would take a ton at this point because Garage Talks is a great team that can certainly come back. But they got the opportunity to take a few.
I don't know. Spawn peaks have been a whiff off, bro. They just have not been effective in both trying to find the.
He's gonna go for another upstairs.
Hey, I like it. Put the pressure on. At least what he's doing is at least having some of that ghost pressure available. Spinning around though towards the vertical. That could have been a huge pick, but not able to find it as he gets still stuck up in that construction area. And they are pushing up. They're trying to.
No
get
way.
It. Hell, wow. Puts a bit of damage on it. Now has 2 bits of damage onto the attack as they're still trying to suss out this first floor or the second floor play. Everybody else put back down, so he's wasting a ton of time. Whiskey, it's a minute and 19 left in the round, and they still have not gotten rid of this Goyo, who will have his gadgets and utility down below. So his job as a defender inside the main site still going to be a viable option, but Phantom is going to take Epic off the board, and that's going to be Valkyrie relegated to their cams for the last 60 seconds. So maybe you're going to see Goyo try to rotate back through oil. I don't know if he's going to make it. He doesn't have the
Holy cow.
place to be able to get there, and look at that. He makes it all the way back down to side, but they're going to get killed right as they get there, and it just falls apart for the defense. It's a 1v5. Mr. B to take Phantom off the board, but is immediately headshot after.
Yep, holding on, waiting for the drop, even though it was in the smoke. Attack team ready and waiting, and another Garage Talk wins. You said it, Mike W is doing a huge job upstairs, taking spawn peeks, wasting time. But in the end, he tried to get back down to site when it mattered. The attack took advantage of that and found another win. We are on match point, round 12. Final opportunity here for Loyalty is Scarce to close out this. But right now, Garage Talks is taking advantage of the momentum they've got. That's 2 in a row. They won basement now twice in a row. So we're going to see the change up in sight and try out this gym bedroom site. We're not going to see it basement for a 7th time here. Going to be the alternative. And from a operator perspective and what Loyalty is Scarce bringing to the table, I like it. The only thing I know you were going to say is missing is that castle. Yes, they've got the Azami. Castle missing, is that a misstep?
100%, right? That's the expected play here for Gym Bedroom. It helps facilitate that extension. It keeps you safe in the rotate inside of sight, and it forces you to bring along an operator to deal with that specifically, right? So if you double up and you bring the Azami and the castle, you have to bring 1 to 2 operators that are going to have enough gadget and utility to be able to take that stuff down to do that normal plan. Look at this. Alex is going to be on the spawn peak, but he's not going to be rewarded for anything here because there's nobody taking this specific route, although starting to get a little closer towards it.
Again, such a common spot that we see the defending team get aggressive and take those shots. Feels like a really, really dangerous spot, and there you can see the yellow ping coming out exactly where he was making that peak, but rotated back, walked away from it. A little bit of killed time though. I think certainly the right call to do it in a way that's not putting yourself in too much danger, right? A little bit of ghost pressure, cause the attack team to slow down. That's the right way to play it out. I like what Loyalty is Scarce did there.
Okay, so first minute is down as they're going to get some drones out to try to suss out where these defenders are at. Everybody up on the 2nd floor, so they're going to start opening up that hot tub area, try to put some pressure onto the bathroom. They're going to open up that with some charge as well, forcing them down to that prone position. Able to stop the second one, just giving them a bit of a peek here instead of completely vulnerable to anybody trying to push in. Drone's going to see that, and they're going to go, dang it, now I got to get my last cell charge on there to open it up. Thermite's already gone, so hoping that the other side of it is already, of course, opened. Takes a couple of pop shots towards that Logi area, assuming that the pressure is going to be coming from there.
Yeah, I think it is definitely an opportunity for them to be able to get that open and puts, again, some more pressure on Mute. And he could maybe get it a little bit closer to the bathroom wall, right, to be able to force him out of that location. But I guess they don't have to worry about it anymore. Smoke. Mike W. goes down in a 5v4, 3v5 now with a minute left. Holy cow, this is the opportunity for Garage. Are we going to overtime, my friend?
It's a good possibility. They do take Uzi off the board. And just to highlight here, Mike W. not found a kill in the last couple of rounds since you said he was sitting at that 10 kill mark, unfortunately. So his hubris doesn't amount to anything at this point. Brios does find a kill. ALX is going to get taken off the board. And 1, 2, 3, they find him.
All right, back on the end of round 9, I think we were basically talking about the demise of this team with Loyalty is Scarce winning 3 in a row on defense, looking incredible to start this thing off, and talking about how Garage and they 3 in a bedroom and down a fantastic job to and taking some Loyalty is Scarce may take a little bit of they're going to get that one shut down and end up in 3, and we get to see overtime in
3-3 on both sides. It's default for a reason, right? If you can get it done on either side, well, they got it done on both. So, yeah, we're going to see. Garage Talks heads to the defense here for this first round, and they're going to bring out a little bit of that roam now. You're going to see Vigil all the way up on that second floor. A zombie going to start holding up in that first floor lounge area, but then eventually rotating back down. So still, yes, have some of that roam game, but not nearly the sort of presence that Loyalty is Scarce was bringing to it. So they've only got to deal with this Vigil. It does get sussed out as he starts to make the rotate back down around the back stairs.
It's one of the things I felt like we were missing from Garage Talks in some of their previous defenses, was a little bit of the extra, at least ghost pressure, a little bit of the shallow roam. So I like seeing the Vigil upstairs, whether or not that's the right place for Zim. I mean, he's sitting at 10, 7, and 4. Again, top frag here for this team. Does not want to go down early, but I think it's a good call putting some extra pressure on this team, because it seemed like Loyalty is Scarce was playing a little bit aggressive, and he's made his way back down. So now they're all 5 stacked up, not even a minute into the round. So they go back to sort of that same strategy. It did work when they needed it to, back on round 6. So it can work. One more opportunity.
Okay, so they get all back down as the first minute has ticked by into that bunker strat, allowing this first floor presence to start opening things up. So going to find themselves Buck to start getting to work. Habana, Hatch Queen for the obvious. The hatches start opening them up. I think the good part here, the thing that's going to be maybe a difference maker here, is the IQ being brought out. Right now, normally you'd see that brought out to try and find out where those valve cams are. None to be had here. Instead, it's going to be those fenders that are going to be so important. Give them a double.
Wow.
C4 from Phantom as they find themselves now up in the man advantage. That body balance tipping 5-3 in their direction.
Wow, right now, Garage Talk's on fire. I mean, 3 in a row on attack, and now in a great position here to start off on defense. But Loyalty is Scarce, not a team to be trifled with. Not that anyone was in the mood to do that tonight, but still with 3 players left alive, Epic, Brios, and Mike W., they can put something together.
Not if you walk down the stairs and get blasted. That's an MP7 to take Brios off the boards. They're pushing up through the smoke, trying to put some pressure on it from dirt, but having to deal with the smokes and the barbed wire is just going to make that an incredibly tough area to traverse. So tough uphill climb here, and you've only got 2 people to get it done. Epic finds the first as they start to mount that comeback, but Phantom going to be on the triple kill. It's handled easily, and we're going to see the next round of OT coming up right now.
Wow. Okay. Just trying to think, what do we need to see here from this this Loyalty is Scarce? Like we said, that's 4 in a row. We knew that this was... oh no. Tech pause as Mike W goes down at the last second. I mean, okay, maybe a little bit of a pause here as we're seeing the Loyalty is Scarce team take a quick tech pause.
Okay. Well, they get themselves reloaded back up. We'll take ourselves a little break as well. So, folks, go ahead and sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're going to bring you the stunning conclusion to the first map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We are here at the end of map number 1 in this best of 3 heater. Loyalty is Scarce taking on Garage Talks. Garage Talks find themselves up 1 in the scoreline in this overtime scenario. It's the match point. I'm still Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as
Attackers
always,
need to
my
locate
partner and
and
co-host,
defuse as many
Mr.
bombs
Whiskey
as they
Run.
can.
What do you think there, Whiskey?
All right, so if you're just joining us, we're in the first map of this best of 3 between Loyalty is Scarce and Garage Talks. And like you said, an overtime match point 7-6. Garage Talks picked Clubhouse, and we thought back on round 9 that they were done. Maybe a little premature because Garage Talks came back and answered 4 in a row, 3 on attack, 1 on their first defense in overtime, and now the opportunity to close out what looked like a lost cause here
5 seconds
in
remaining.
overtime match point here on round 14. Upstairs, the 2F gym bedroom is the place we're going to do battle. We saw Loyalty is Scarce win this one back on round 1. And again, Garage Talks won it on round 3, so they had a little adaptation, and right now a ton of momentum here on the Garage Talk side. The tech pause, though, was on the Loyalty is Scarce side, so see whether or not that's going to make a difference. That was a full rehost. It is over, so unfortunately we lost all the stats, but I mean, Mike W., Mr. B having fantastic games on the Loyalty is Scarce side, and Tomas and I believe it was Zim having the top frags over on the Garage Talk side. So looking to see it set up, and that wall going to open up. And oh, unfortunate, was that unfortunate Zofia charge?
It does get the goes out instead of in, so Tuberow still able to maintain it, holding this hot tub wall closed, which is of course exactly what he's designed to do. He's here to slow it down, and he's doing exactly that. Now they're looking towards potentially trying to re-bandage. No, not going to happen. It's going to be too close. Fenrir is going to get that wall opened up at some point. There would just be not enough time for it to react. So we're going to see that first bit opened up. It's the double two-pronged approach here, right? Bring out the ace, bring out the thermite, make sure you open everything up. What I do like is bringing out the Flores, right? Get rid of some of that extension util that has just been a nightmare to deal with, the Azami. The reason we see that architect banned out. So yeah, Flores to help take them off the board and equalize, and that's going to be the first as Mike W takes Thermite down, but he did his job. Does get answered back as Mr. B going to be relegated to the Valkyrie cams. Now takes us into a 4-4. There's only a minute and 10 left here in this round, and if Loyalty is Scarce does not find the round win, it's going to be over and done for map number 1.
On the end of the get to go pick
Cover the
huge Garage Talk side, and what we had said, Mike W. now Q rounded, and he picked up 2 very important ones. 2 with 37 seconds left right now. Either way.
off the bomb diffuser.
Yeah, it really could. So now down into a 3-1, except for Thatcher now going to be the last alive of this attempt.
Oh.
They are trying to find themselves
Wow.
to get equalized here on a couple of people on the body count. He's going to go towards the diffuser instead, pushes in. He is going to get into construction successfully, but Epic going to use that MP7 to rip his head right off, and that's going to tie us back up next to that double OT scenario.
Wow. What a run there. The second half of this game has been very... What a roller coaster, right? 3 in a row for Loyalty is Scarce on those first 3 defending rounds, and then 3 from Garage Talks on attack, and then 1 more in overtime to start to shut that door. But Loyalty is Scarce, it opened it wide back up again. 7-7 on map 1 of this best of 3. We get the full double overtime experience, my friend. 7-7.
Exactly what we want.
Here it is, round 15, the last opportunity.
Locate and defuse as many
We're going to
bombs as
see...
they
Oh,
can.
wow. Okay, we're going to see this... I mean, they won the basement, and rather than have Garage Talks on defense go back to the gym bedroom site, we're going to see CC Cash as the final defensive site here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, okay. So take it to the Tersh, the test on the Tersh. And going to see some pretty similar stuff, right? Malusi is slowing it down. Doc's going to have to be that presence on the catwalk. No Azami this time to help solidify that role. So just when we were saying how important it was to bring that Azami along on the site that you generally see her on, not going to be the case here for Garage Talks. Is it a misstep? Well, I guess we're going to find out. This is the last round to get it done here.
Locate a bomb and defuse it.
That's right, and we have seen consistently, I think, Garage Talks on the defense play a little bit conservatively, not play very spread out, potentially with the only exception being this Valkyrie on the roam, and certainly that's what we're seeing here again. All of this this defensive team upstairs with the combination of the Doc and the Wamai holding down Garage. Interesting they didn't bring along the Azami, really powerful position there, and rather than use the Cade to try and stop any of that Garage play, they're going to go with the Bandit. Tomas holding on to the CC side with the Bandit. So a couple interesting choices. We'll see how it plays out. Malusi definitely can make a big difference, but without the shields and without the mirror, I think this clubhouse has definitely gone in an interesting direction.
Yeah, and look at that. Blocked off on the top of red as well with the barricade. It's kind of a little bit of an interesting pick here. So, Buck
What?
just...
Hopefully Mike W's not, I was going to say, hopefully not having an internet issue. Whew, man, sigh of relief there at 2. We're too far into this round to get a rehost for this last and final round, so glad that we're not going to have to worry about it. But look at this. Valkyrie and Repas. We knew that this was going to be the potential spoiler, so got 2 of these defenders playing downstairs now with that combination of the Wamai playing bottom garage as well.
That's right, and they're going to get some drones in to take an extra little bit of a look around. At this point, we can consider it not droned out. Oh, they're not even going to look. He's going to get shot in the back as they start to make that push up. There's one.
No
there's
way.
2. Yeah, each of them going to find that as it's just not going to be dealt with. The pinch from Wamai and Valkyrie to find it now takes us into a 5-3. That's a tough one, Whiskey. Now, with 1 minute and 6 seconds left on the board, the pressure going to start to really mount up here. Epic going to get taken off the board as the trade comes out, and it's going to be Tomas to find Mr. B, and now call it a double. Give it to Garage Talks. They're going to take map number 1.
8-7 victory there for Garage Talks in absolutely what is a hard-fought victory between these two teams. Boy, when Garage Talks needed to, they came up huge, looking very good. Phantom being that top frag, but we know there was that rehost at the very end, unfortunately. But that score line, accurate. 8-7 victory for Garage Talks, and they played a hell of a game, especially in that second half. And we talked about it nearly the whole game on this first map was the team that took advantage of a few small mistakes was going to be the team that won. And right there at the end, Garage Talks pulled it off with Valkyrie playing downstairs and a little bit of mist drone. So 2 great teams. Luckily, it's not over yet. The best of 3, we get to go into map 2 to see Chalet played out. And it's not an elimination game. We're in the upper bracket quarterfinals. If you're just joining us, welcome. We've got potentially 2 more maps to go to find out who is making it to the semifinals here in Element 4 Open Qualifier 2.
At least 1 more. We head to Chalet, where Garage Talks looks to put it away, and Loyalty is Scarce looks to take it to that 3rd decider. Sit back, relax, because when we come back, we're bringing you the second map. Ayo.
Let's go.
What's up, and welcome back, fellow Siege spectators and players. We're back for a map number 2. It's all on the line for the upper bracket here, as Loyalty is Scarce is down in the scoreline by 1 as we head to Chalet. I am still the Reverend Whiskey Glitter, and with me, as always, my partner and co-host, Mr. Whiskey Run.
Welcome everyone to Element 4. We are in, like you said, at the quarterfinals here. Who is going to make it into the semifinals? And what a quarterfinals it is shaping up. So we know that we've got this game taking place here. Loyalty is Scarce taking on Garage Talks, and it's like we said, a bunch of familiar names and a bunch of unsaid storylines contained in these two names and these two logos. It has been fun to cast these teams so far. We've also got the other qualifier quarterfinal streams going on Galumalu and Jesse J. Chick, both currently casting as well, along with Supers. So a fantastic lineup to cover all of these Element 4 quarterfinals. But it is game time for map 2 of this best of 3, my friend.
Okay, it's Chalet. Whiskey, this is your favorite map, right? And this is the one where you like to see it get it done, and it's a first floor that we have just been seeing everywhere now. It has become the standard. Bar gaming, kitchen dining has gotta be able to take real estate on the second floor, hold it on the basement, and I mean, I'm excited for it. I think we're gonna probably see some similar bans, although I wouldn't doubt seeing the Azami taken off the board this time.
Yeah, I think 3 shields going down as part of those bans on Clubhouse was interesting and maybe a little problematic as the round played out, but Garage Talk's going to take the Ying off the board. But I definitely think we're going to see the Monty, I mean, near 100% in this case. And I think on our streams, there's been very few where we've even seen Monty make it through. So on the defensive side, a lot more options, but you said it, Azami, very good on Chalet, potential ban there, along with, I don't know, maybe there's, trying to think if there'd be any other dark horses that might come out, and not just the Valkyrie Azami pair.
It's going to be the Kate again. Really just making sure that they're going to be able to get those that verticality established. It's an interesting pick, which means Valkyrie or Azami, one of them could be on the board. Both, if we see an off pick here. Which honestly, we could see something that isn't against the stand. Although, yeah, Valkyrie, that intel just being so incredibly tough to get around, especially on a place where you're going to be playing first floor, where you're going to have that soft breach in between. That intel and opportunity just not going to be there.
Yeah, you said it. She is just very good in that position. I mean, there's so many great places to hide the cams on Chalet with the rafters, and I think it just forces, again, a little bit of play style, forces the attackers to bring the IQ as the alternative. With this, with Valkanot being there, you're a little bit freer to open up, right? You can bring the Deimos in this case, at least they're showing. You know, Twitch can focus on getting rid of some of the hard utility, not the intel utility. But it does leave, like we said, Azami and Mira both going to be available, although Mira not played here. She's very good on the kitchen dining site, available for some of those others options later in the game. But yeah, I'd love to see how Epic is going to use that Deimos. We didn't see a lot of him being played as part of the Clubhouse routine, but you know, from a utility clear, from playing from below. Also, just saying his name is for sure going to cause him to get 6-picked right off the board, but Frost gonna survive.
We should have waited 3 more seconds.
Nah, man.
Now he's not going to be utilized. Okay, so usually what you see going for Dokkaebi is going to be realized here, that DMR. She gets a huge ban as well for the most part, but this time opting for the Ying instead. I like it. Oh, geez.
What? Look at this, how quickly in.
Pushing straight in. Dokkaebi, as I was saying their name, decides to get a little bit active and try to put the pressure on Brios. Really want to start this one out with a bang. On the side of the defense, though, Whiskey, it's a classic, right? Fenrir is starting to become more and more of that operator that just makes it incredibly difficult for good teams to push in quickly. So put him on some of those critical push points. He's going to stop it. Plus, he's got the MP7, the Bailiff, and a bulletproof cam to back it up. Azami, obviously, that static warfare, that trench warfare that is so tough to get out, is what we were talking about on Clubhouse, where you're forcing them to bring gadgetry to deal with some of the shenanigans that you got set up. If you're bringing in Azami, you almost have to have a Flores to get rid of those Kiva barriers.
This loyalty is scarce team right now is just from a map control and from a speed perspective. This is their map pick. They were very ready to start, I think, on attack here for CHALET, and they took a ton of map control, right? Games downstairs, pushing in onto those blue stairs, and then intel for days and double droning coming up and forcing the piano player to have to react. So right now, I think they were ready to come out swinging, but boy, Tomas answers back and takes down Mike W very quickly on that repel, but look at this, just trades back and forth, and right now, I mean, Garage Talk's making them pay for what I was thinking was a good strategy here of being very aggressive, taking space early, and Garage Talks has got an answer for it.
Yeah, absolutely. So the man advantage does sit into the hands of the defense currently, as you can see Thermite making his way into Piano, looking for an engagement to hopefully get them matched back up in the scoreline. But Elysian Goo going to give away his location, and Frost going to take Mr. B off the board. Now puts us into a 4-2, a desperate situation here on map number 1. You know what? Take Epic down as well. That's going to leave Dokkaebi the last alive, but not for very long.
This is several rounds where we've seen Brios end up as the last player left alive here on CHALET and previously on Clubhouse. Doing a great job of keeping himself alive, but unfortunately not keeping up with the rest of the team. So that's a first floor defense in the books there for Garage Talks to start with. They're going to go downstairs to the basement rather than after the other first floor site, and but at least from where they're showing, Tomas picking up the clash. I'm wondering whether or not that was, maybe more of a target ban. We sort of joked about all of the shields being banned as part of Clubhouse, but, Tomas is, former T1, the X-Set Mirage player, or the M word in the Siege community, maybe known to be good on the clash.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously, going to be the target ban is Clash is somebody we don't ever see played outside of somebody who's really just an incredible player for it. So defense is going to not opt for the Warden. A lot of times you see this half breach that's going here on the wall be set up with a deployable. Instead, they're just going to lock that puppy down. They're going to give away Trench for potentially free here, and then allow them to have to push in through that single doorway to get in unless they can make the breach for it. On the attack side of it, a lot of the same here. Look, they are still setting up site 15 seconds into the round. It's crazy.
We saw a little bit of that yesterday with the CL4L Part 2. Leaving defensive utility in pocket, putting mirror windows up late, waiting to use some of it to avoid the Twitch drones coming in, clearing it out, right? Even if it is very late, obviously, to get those that utility in play, if you could save it from the attacker utility clear, could come in clutch. So a little bit of a strategy, I think, that we saw. It's not typically used, but now 2 days in a row here in Element 4, well, these teams pulling out all the stops. Everyone wants a piece of that 30K cash prize available, and only 5 teams are going to make it from the 8 in the upper bracket right now, plus all of those lower bracket teams that are still fighting it out.
Okay, so it's first minute has ticked by, and you're starting to see everybody rotate back down to side as they've sort of done a little bit of the stall game. Kind of been a pattern here, though, Whiskey, right? They really don't hold on to their extension or to their roam game for very long. They put the pressure on, they take a couple of pop shots, they hope to win an early engagement, and then if they don't, they just retreat back down, and they're doing it before the minute and a half mark. Still do have one set up there, right? A zombie, but that's designed. That's going to stay. That's playing live. That's some first floor, making sure that you're not going to be able to push in through that backside of it, the backside of the stairs, the libraries. But other than that, fully bunkered back down fairly quickly.
That's right. The bunker back down, and Vigil he's been putting some pressure in, but interesting playing on those stairs, right? Nobody upstairs on the 2F. It's just the Azami playing on library and again on the stairs, trying to hold down that position. So nothing upstairs, but 48 seconds left, and you still have got, I was going to say, Ash was up on 2F there, so they're still working on finding the way down and getting this execute in play, and all 10 still live in the lobby.
Yeah, so they start to finally get that back door opened up as the pressure from the west main stairs is going to prove to be too much for ALX. Phantom takes that first kill
Oh!
as Zofia going to die next. Brios goes down, and all of a sudden we find ourselves into a 5v3 situation. A little bit tough for the push, but they're going to find one. Give them a second one now as there's Twitch goes down as well. That puts us into a 4v1 situation. Ace the last alive, and he's going to be dealt with quite easily. So, you know, I was gonna say it was a little, it's a cool strat to see them, you know, getting out of there so quickly, but it's serving the purpose, right? It's doing its job. It's making them suss out every single room upstairs on the 2F before they push down, and it just wasted a ton of time.
I'll be honest, in those last 10 seconds, I thought we were going to see a TK with how close Uzi was getting uh, to his teammates' domes there. It's just so close. Little anxiety inducing on my side, but you said it. All 10 left in the lobby, the total collapse there. It could have easily gone either way, but I think the combination of the clash coming in at the last second, protecting, and then just good hold. We were still working on opening up sight lines into wine there at the end, and just loyalty is scarce, taking a little bit too long, getting themselves in position for that execute. And right now, Garage Talks again taking advantage of it, up 2-0 as we head into round 3. Now we get to see that second first floor site here. We see Bar Gaming as the next alternative, and this time seeing Mira set upstairs to watch and guard from the library jump in. They've got one deployable there with a combination of the Frost and now the Azami as well. So it's a good defensive setup, and I like the bringing out the health on the attacker side from the Loyalty is Scarce side with the Finka this time around.
Yeah, it's one thing that we saw in the last map, right? Clubhouse had a ton of downs, had a ton of damage, and a lot of times had us left in a 2v2 situation where one team had the incredible full up health situation and one team was low. So now we're gonna see the clutch drones start to get to work here as they're trying to get those Banshees and those default cams off the board. No Twitch here to deal with the mirror. Instead, they're going to do it the old-fashioned way. Use the Ash to stop it from being a two-way. Now you got yourself just a barricaded wall with a Kiva barrier back up and kind of locked in up here on the top of this.
It's funny you say the old-fashioned way of dealing with the Mira rather than the Twitch, considering that's the most recent update to the Mira mechanic. But I know you meant with a gun or with utility as opposed to shooting it open. That was just funny the way it played out. But Mike W, not interested in laughing at this point. He's going to take down more of the defenders upstairs. So the Azami down, not more than half the round gone. That means she went to bed with some of her Kiva barriers in pocket, along with the Frost. So the attackers have now full control here vertically upstairs on the mezzanine and library side. So all three of the defenders left alive downstairs, and boy, Epic and Mike W just finishing it off. Zim, the only one left alive with a minute 20. I don't think he's going to survive that long.
Yeah, you said all three left alive as they all died except for one. The push, the line, the
Wow.
flawless round. A little conga line in towards the closet.
Look at that, all four collapsing at that point on the last defender's position, obviously knowing where he was at, even with the combination of the Mira and the deployable hiding back in the stock area, not enough. And so yeah, loyalty is scarce, certainly not in a dangerous position to start this thing off. It's a 4-2 kind of a map, right? Chalet, maybe a little bit defensive-sided. We've seen some teams be very good. It turned into an attacker-sided map. But for loyalty is scarce to win the tertiary site, in this case from a Garage Talks perspective, I think playing it out very well. So we're going to continue the round rotate. They go back to the kitchen dining site that they won back on round 1. And in this case, Loyalty is scarce with a little bit of momentum. They stopped their one, looking on forcing that 4-2 split between these teams, and very well evenly matched. And if you are just joining us, picked a great time because here it is, second map in a best of 3 in the quarterfinal to see who is going to continue
10 seconds remaining.
for the semifinals between the teams.
5 seconds left.
Again,
Attackers are heading out to
T2
defuse a bomb.
beneath, throwing it out here.
Okay, Whiskey. First bit of round rotate is over. You see a couple of familiar faces as you said it. Frost, that staple of Chalet. Ella, who has just become an ever-present danger, right? More and more we're seeing her, especially with the introduction of the impacts, which are not going to be used on this round. That comfort pick of the gun. Yeah, interesting situation. 4-2 sounds like it would be the right bit of half here, right? And probably what Loyalty is Scarce is looking for. Anything over that, of course, icing on the cake, as we talked about. But really, just set your 4 and then, or set your 2 and then rely on just being a better defense is I believe, the hope and the goal. So looking to establish some verticality. Gridlock starting to get some of those tracks down so they stop that bit of rotate. And they're kind of pushing in from a little bit of everywhere, right? Pressure starting to mount everywhere as they're pushing in towards that piano room to put the pressure on to Ella. Instead, it's going to be the zombie getting their life forfeit as Mr. B's able to find that kill.
Oh.
Of course, gets answered back as Mike W gets taken off the board. Now into a 4-4. We still have Mute down there playing spoiler. C4 in hand, ready to stop any sort of plan. Sussed out with those Mute jammers. He might not. He could be the impact play here.
Wow, so close there. Ella waiting for the pushover from the highway side, but he quick takes down the mirror or the Kiba barrier and then rotates off just out of the sight line. So close, Ella was holding on to that angle. So now they've got the downstairs sight opened up. They've got that main wall, so they've got the breach now. Working upstairs, though, they still have got to clear these defenders out because with the combination of the Legion playing in Solar and the Frost in Solar, they don't have enough vertical control to be, confident running in. And now, working on pushing in the combination of that gridlock and the Twitch here, walking in, gaining control of the library. So that's the push in that they need. That one Grismot goes off and might be the opportunity that the defense needs to shut down these 4 defenders left alive.
I don't know why I called him the spoiler. It's a first floor. It's a first floor side. Of course they know he's down here. It's the vertical that's got to be had so difficult, and they start pushing him back. Frost to find
downed
Alex off the board, and Legion goes down in the answer. So it does take us into a 3-3. 26 on the board. Epic to find Phantom. Now takes us into into that as they get the confirmation on the kill. Tomas to answer back onto Brio. 17 seconds left in which to get down and get the plant, but no diffuser in hand, so they're going to have to go for the kills. It's going to be the hatch drop, and it's going to be hot as he takes a couple of pre-fires towards the trophy. He's going to lose that fight as Epic goes down now into a 2v1. Thermite the last alive, but call it. Mr. B gets his head ripped off as he tries to push in that 1v2.
And that was a 4K there from Tomas. When he needed to show up, he did. And Garage Talks right now feeling very confident on their defensive half here on Chalet. So in this best of 3, Garage Talks barely, and I mean double overtime, barely squeaked by on that first map, Clubhouse 8-7. So now a lot of the pressure here on Loyalty is Scarce. It is still early. They are still on attack. We're only on round 5 at this point, but Garage Talk's looking very good right now, at least to start this thing off. So taking advantage, I know we said this a lot during the Clubhouse map, but taking advantage of some of the small mistakes Loyalty is Scarce is making, and they have not been able to do it nearly as good a job capitalizing on the Garage Talk mistakes when they do happen. That will be sort of the hinge point, I think, moving forward in this. 1v3, round 5. Here we go, my friend.
That's right. 2 away from the half being done, and we'll bring out the same lineup that you saw a little bit previously. A little bit of air denial in the hands of Smoke, but outside of that, pretty standard. Right now, they do dedicate some top play here as Legion is up there, along with the Smoke. Now, is he going to stay? Is it going to be the extension? Nope, he's going to rotate back down. Ella, however, not afraid to make her presence known up on the double bit of head holes there. Now, probably going to be the same similar sort of thing, right? Give her about 45 seconds. She'll rotate back down to site, go for that full bunker. Unless she gets sussed out before, they're already going to start putting some pressure here and taking a look at the backside.
I mean, holding on this the game's bar area, be able to play a little bit of spoiler here. Yeah, pushing up. Would love to see a little bit of a mudroom push, but don't be over, a little too overconfident. Hold on, push in the right ways. Garage Talks has got to take the right opportunities because that's been the name of the game, capitalizing on the mistakes from this team. So working on all 5, and Mike W. this time bringing out the Deimos. We didn't say his name during the prep phase, so he's going to stick it through the 6th pick and going to be available. Love seeing him come out because I for sure think he has been a welcome addition to the roam clear and been a pretty fun op all the way around.
Did you see him pick it and then purposely not talk about it so we can see some Deimos play? Is that what happened?
Yeah, not talking about it, my friend. I want to see how Mike W is going to use that op here as they're working. And we saw a ton of this vertical play, definitely on border between the interaction with Deimos. But now this is all vertical going down, and in this case, it's pushing in from the snowmobile side, maybe directly gonna. I was going to say hop in the window. That seems like a dangerous point of entry. Just going to rotate around.
100%. I think that's the right call, right? So, minute and 14 left, and they have made it all back down to site, the full bunker down. A little bit of damage has been done onto Ash, but everybody, for the most part, not in a terrible position. Looking to get active. It is going to be Phantom to find ALX off the board as the Flores drone's going to force him out of that position. Comes back to take a second look and loses his life to Mr. B, as Deimos also gets ripped down as Mike W finds his life forfeit. So pushing in from the French, it's going to be Zim to find Brios, and now takes us into a 4-2, into a 3-2 as the push up onto the wine pillar there makes a little bit of damage for the defenders. 3 of them all at that low health. And that's going to be the plant starting to go down. The cross is set up. Has to find the shot.
What a shot!
Legion off the board. Looking to get it towards it and towards the shelf. Is going to push in. It's a Grismot. Now 2v2. 25 seconds left. He's in the position to make the plant, and he gets the down onto the bandit.
No
Ella
way.
Alone on an island here to try to bring this back, and they're going to have to win this first fight. And she does. Takes it.
Wins it?
The wrap around towards Pillar. A 1v1. And then it's just going to find it.
No way.
Take it on the defense in a 2v1 scenario. Oh man, you find yourself feeding them one by one. Well, I tell you what, they're gonna eat.
I mean, you had to swing that angle. You had to put pressure on the attackers. They had the angle covered from the back of Wine with the diffuser from Mr. B going down sort of in the default for Wine, and just well played there by the defense, forcing the attackers to peak at the right moments and then winning the gunfight when they needed to. That is 2 basement defenses in the bag there for Garage Talk. So now we're going to see this this Bar Gaming. This was the 3rd site in the rotation. The one that we saw, Loyalty is Scarce, win back on round 3. Again, the best opportunity for Loyalty is Scarce to try and push in and take another win, secure that 4-2 standard split on their map pick before they get to play defense here on Chalet.
Woo-wee. Bring the Clash back out. A little bit of dock play. They were looking for a dock on that last round. Low health still brought it back into contention. Won the round. This is a crazy one, but it's not like unexpected, right? That's what we're saying at the beginning, Whiskey, is that 4-2, it's the standard.
The standard split.
Needs this round, though.
Yeah, this is the one. Have to try and find a win here. Have to try and find something to be able to hold on, gain a little bit of ground on Garage Talks, get that standard split, and then try and secure this. Because like we said, all the pressure is on. Loyalty is Scarce. They're down a map in this best of 3 to Garage Talks. And you hate to have, either one of these two great teams have to go down, but somebody has to. Somebody's got to be the team that heads to the lower bracket. Luckily for us and the viewers, it's not an elimination game. It is the upper bracket. Certainly an easier path, though. This team, all they got to do, one best of 3 now, and then the semifinals to secure their spot in Element 4. The loser's going to have to fight it out in the lower bracket, a much more difficult path.
Probably going to be the comfort pick here, as there's not many devices to be stealing out, mainly those defaults. Buck going to start opening up that verticality, and Ace to put that pressure towards the blue stair, towards that deployable that is surely there. The clash pick here is pretty wild, right? Like, I kind of like it. It really can be that pace-setting operator unless you're shot in the back. Now, Zim is going to find ALX off the board, and that's going to give the man advantage tipped over to Garage Talks here. They come up 5-1. That's going to be a completely different story, Whiskey, than that 4-2 split. Buck already gone. Verticality be damned here, as they're going to have to rely on maybe sussing out or getting those Flores drones. There's only 2 of them left to make this push in and try to open up some of these potential death traps that are around.
I think that's exactly why we saw the Clash ban on Clubhouse, is because of Tomas, right? He's playing the Clash again, a known Clash player and good at it. But in this case, a triple from Zim. Holy cow, playing top of the blue, but there he gets one, but then traded out with Mr. B. Unfortunate there. The reign of terror for Clash is done, but now Mr. B in the tough spot again, playing the ace, the lone man left alive. It's all up to him, and he's got to get 3, including taking down the Vigil and the Doc, who's able to stim up the rest of his team and keep them alive.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, the Clash is dead, and that is tough. You definitely want to Clash alive for the late round, but the job has been done. There's 35 seconds left. There's literal inches of hope here to be had, and they are spread out as well, right? 1 in bar stock, 1 on the stairs, 1 in the gaming room. You're going to have to take 3 on, and it's going to be rapid, right? They're not going to just give it to you 1 by 1 to take this. Instead, it's going to be the switch over from the hallway and a headshot onto Mr. B getting taken down.
Okay, if you are a Loyalty is Scarce or first day out, if you were taking a look back at this team from the from Element 4 qualifier number 1, now is the time for them to step up. They were dominant in the first half of Clubhouse, going up 5-3. Before that eventually went to a double overtime victory for Garage Talks. They looked very good on the first, we'll call it 9 rounds of siege between these two teams. Clearly the better team, clearly taking advantage of every mistake that Garage Talks was making and winning rounds. And Garage Talks flipped that switch back on round 10 there on Clubhouse, winning 4 in a row and eventually coming back to win it. And they've continued this reign of terror, again winning 3 in a row, 4, 5, and 6 here on their defensive side. So Loyalty is Scarce coming into the defensive half of Chalet. They've got all the opportunity behind them now, and they need to secure at least as good a 5-1 half against Garage Talks, potentially here to just win and force OT. So a lot of pressure on this team right now. So if you're a Loyalty is Scarce fan, it's looking a little scary here as we start off on first floor for Chalet.
Attacker's objective is to defuse the bomb.
The pressure's here. Now it is defense. You talked about it, Chalet, right? We're going to go to the first floor here, kitchen dining to be specific, and because the zombie's on the board, we're going to utilize her along with some banshees, steal the intel with the mute, and then of course the staples, the classic Legion and Frost to back it up. It's a good defensive setup. You know, is the momentum? Are we mental chocked at this point already? Look at this. Does get sussed out by a drone, which means he's going to start to put the pressure on, looking towards the back end, takes the clutch off the board, and is able to survive through that last bit of exchange.
Wow.
So got a clutch drone and able to get out of there with his life.
Watching this thing develop, so you've got the roam clear in with the Dokkaebi coming through the basement. Sometimes we see the Nook play that role coming in through the basement, but Uzi playing that Dokkaebi, they've got the opportunity to find the roamers, but right now I'm hoping, or at least if you're a Loyalty is Scarce fan, hoping they can convert some of this, because there it is. They're finally getting an opening pick, taking down Phantom and putting a lot of pressure on this team. A lot of utility dump coming at this point, but they gotta stay alive. Mike W goes down to even this thing up with 1:45 left.
Yeah, and he's having a little bit of a lackluster round here inside of round 7 here. He's sitting 3 and 6, and was sitting at that top frag position for so long on that first map. So look to get him a little bit active. But Brios and ALX as well, both 1 and 5, just struggling to find those engagements to have them go in their direction. And so we're equalized on the scoreline here as the attack starts to feel a little bit of the pressure here.
Well
Except for
played.
they find it. They find the kill, baited out by the Malusi gadget, and now the plant's going to go down in this 4v2 situation, meaning that, oh, there we go. Brios is to find one as he finds his second kill for the match, or for this map. Those two staples, the classics that have to be had here. And it's a couple of low healths on the other side as well, but Frost's going to go down, and that just spells disaster as Zim finds himself on the triple kill. You know what? Let's just clean it right up. It's now a match point scenario, Whiskey.
My friend, it is not just match point, but we're on match point, map point, best of 3 quarterfinal point. My friend, the winner here, if it is Garage Talks on round 8, means they move on in the Element 4 elimination bracket. And they're sending Loyalty is Scarce down to the lower if they can win this next round. And it looked like Loyalty is Scarce had a slight opening there, but that round, all of the opportunities going in the way of the attackers and Garage Talks. Right now, they're looking very good. So Loyalty is Scarce needs to turn it up. This is the spot right now. No more opportunities. No more possibilities to throw any more rounds. Take that confidence and turn it and convert it into a round win here on round 8.
Okay. You heard it. What's the win conditions? The power of friendship, maybe? We need to see some refrags, right? We need to see some buddy system in play, and a little bit of reward for finding those first bits of kills. Tough position to find yourself in. Perfect for 5 is not a place you want to find yourself. So the bar stage setup that we've got going on here, not going to opt for that mirror play up top. Still a zombie, right? And you don't need the mirror if you can have those that static warfare to hold onto the top of Mez. And they're going to look to try to get a cheeky play here as well, right? Maybe catch somebody slipping on that window, maybe from down below, the push in onto the main lobby floor. It could be anywhere. Now, you've got Malusi set up inside of the library corner, right? That pivotal position to pick, but no Capitao to force them out. So it's going to have to be done with flashes and a jump in, which is a little bit tougher if you're still trying to take on that Mez position.
Oh, I was going to say, look at this. I love the Brava play here again. Stealing one of the Malusis there to start off with, and then completely distracting Zames. She's holding down the fireplace, but losing defensive utility. So even better than just clearing it is stealing it. So love that mechanic. Phantom trying, but no more clutch drones left available. So the defensive utility in play is going to stay that way unless Flores here can blow it up, or the Twitch running her drone can try and clear some of it out. But Azami right now being a menace, playing behind the Kiba, holding onto these fireplace stairs. Minute 45, and now is the first time we're seeing a kill, and this is Loyalty is Scarce getting the opening pick, taking down Tomas.
That's right, and it does come at a price, right? The zombie does get reduced to that 6 HP, but still alive on the fireplace stairs, still with Kiva barriers in hand to solidify that position.
Okay.
Mike able to take Reaps off the board, now puts us into a 5v3. It's a minute and 22 as the attack starts to fall apart here. This is the defensive side of map. We expect Loyalty is Scarce to find a couple of rounds. Can they find all of them? Well, it's looking pretty good. Now, that is a zombie gets taken off the board as Phantom takes Epic down. As this Dokkaebi call goes out, starts putting a little pressure on the roam game. Smoke gonna drop or head up to that 2F location as Legion.
Oh, the trade!
Fit now into a 3-2 situation to push up the blue stairs. Is gonna amount to another kill as Zim gets taken down. It's gonna be shots from the window as they're trying to put the pressure onto the defense, but it's starting to get into a too little, too late situation. Does push up, but hits a Legion Goo and can take a couple of shots for his enjoyment there, trying to retreat through. Smoke canister does go out as they are just sending everything and the kitchen sink at this gentleman currently. Looking towards it, Malusi Gadget goes off, and that was the bait needed as ALX is able to take the swing.
Yeah, well played there by the defense, able to force him all the way back from a little, playing on the mezzanine window into office, back into piano, on completely the wrong side of really that central push point, the top of those blue stairs, on playing in Ivy. It's just a great play there from Loyalty is Scarce. That's what we needed to see from this team finally to pick one up. They haven't won a round since back on round 3. So that was 4 in a row that we saw Garage Talks pick up. So that was huge for Loyalty is Scarce to get this one, obviously, because it extends it. So we're going to continue on the match point streak, though. 4 opportunities more for Garage Talks to put it away with a single round. And when we say put it away, we're talking about the entire quarterfinal here in Element 4. So like we said, 8 teams left, 4 quarterfinal games going on right now to determine who those 4 semifinal teams are.
Okay. And his defense, not, that's the place you want to find yourself if you have to mount a comeback, right? The pressure going to be put onto the attack to make something work. What do we do? What do we switch up? Well, nothing really, right? Azami going to be the staple. Legion and Frost, Malusi going to be those staples, even though Bravo's not going to be brought out onto the board for the attack squad. So those Malusis will maybe be a little bit more impactful this time. They do bring out the Twitch to get rid of some of that extension util, those cams specifically, that intel being incredibly huge. Looking for a spawn peak here. This is what started to lead to a little bit of problems here for Loyalty is Scarce last time, right? Trying to get a little cheeky, trying to get a play into the hubris, and then getting punished for it because everybody's looking for that sort of thing. And they almost get one there onto the Frost, who does run across and almost loses their life yet again, somehow able to survive, able to traverse without getting that bullet shot to the face. That was right in front of her, Whiskey.
Yeah, so close. Brios dodging the literal bullet and at a perfect time, staying alive. That would have been tragic going down so early in this round, losing. Yes, even though all of your utility is down, you need Frost and you need Brios left alive here to try and win this one. You're going to need everybody at this point because Garage Talks, even though they lost that last round, again, been playing very well in the second half of this best of 3 so far. We've got one more map if they can keep this thing going, which if you're a Loyalty is Scarce fan, that's what you want to see. Fighting it out, battling it out here for Siege, but the battle upstairs right now taking place in the office with a little bit of control here. Right now, you can see from the Garage Talk side, they've got control of basically the library mezzanine half, but that's that midway point in the map, finally that upstairs wall opening up into office, and that's what they needed to open this sight line all the way back across the second floor.
That's right. So to put the pressure on the top where 4 members of the defense are sitting, right? There it is. Going to get sussed out on the cam. Takes a couple of shots anyways. The prone position, not going to find one. But that's where it's all at. The vertical pressure is up top. So if they're able to push them back off of where the...
no way. He survives that full white.
Huge shots, a couple of them that come through. Brios takes Uzi off the board. Zim to find ALX, puts us into a 4-3. But if they're able to push them back, right, take them off of that chassis vertically, they can get themselves in and get a plant going and just hold down the vertical. But Brios going to make that exception.
Wow.
As he's going to be in triple kill now, looking to find himself a quad piece. Now, it does get answered back. Mike W gets taken off the board, but it's a 1v3. Vertical is still had, even though it was opened up. Okay, give him a double kill as he's going to start moving around, starting to get a little active. Malusi Gadget to reveal his location towards that kitchen defender. Now, look at this. Looking towards it, he's going to find it. Backwards in. Mr. B says hello and also goodbye.
No knife. I thought maybe we would see the knife, but they opt for the hip fire instead. And the timeout coming out. Again, great call there using that. And in this case, it's Garage Talks again taking that timeout after 2 in a row there for the Loyalty is Scarce. You look at this score line, it was looking all Garage Talks. They were dominating this, but Loyalty is Scarce coming up with the round wins, the rounds that they needed. But you saw that after Brios survived running across the open window and just barely dodging the literal bullet, comes up with a 3K immediately after. So to me, definitely the hinge point in that round. If he had gone down, I think we would have seen the Loyalty is Scarce team go down at that point. But keeping them alive and keeping them this fairly spread evenly across everybody contributing here when it comes down to the wire.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, right? We needed everybody to start contributing. You had two players that were sitting 1 and 5 in round number 7, and once they start getting active, they're the heroes of the last map. Even though they didn't get the W, they were that impactful players part. So you see them both come up, right? All of a sudden, Brios is now sitting 1 away from being tied up on his KD. ALX is 2 away from being tied up
Defenders,
on their
protect your
KD.
bombs from being defused by
And
attackers.
gets a little bit closer. 3 rounds looks a lot different than
Attackers
4
have
or
located a
5
bomb.
that you have to come up with. But the thing is the adaptation is going to start coming out. The Garage Talks only has to find one. So one tricky strat, one body balance shifted in their favor, one potential plant, and it could all be over. So the pressure is definitely on and mounted.
See, the thing about it is, Clubhouse, you look back at round 10, it was exactly the same scoreline except for flipped.
10 seconds left.
Loyalty is Scarce was on that 6-3 scoreline over Garage Talks.
5 seconds.
Garage Talks won it, came back, and won the whole map there in double overtime. So,
Attackers are moving
right,
to defuse
it
the bomb.
certainly can be done. We have even seen it in this best of 3 between these two teams tonight. So, right now, it is anybody's game, but you said it. All the pressure on Loyalty is Scarce. They have got to win 3 in a row to force that overtime, and right now, I'm loving the way that these two teams are playing it out, and I want to see all the siege we can get between them. So, maybe a Loyalty is Scarce fan, but want to see it happen. And the Blitz on the solar stairs, Tomas winning
Yeah,
it.
huge. That's huge, right? Give the shield player some room to move if he's going to find himself one, and that's going to be onto the roam game as well. So, or onto that backstairs game as well. Now just pushing in, taking space. Solus to be blinded goes down, but they're going to take it. Mr. B able to take Tomas off the board as the body count gets equalized and stops that flow of bleeding almost immediately. So that's going to be answered back as Reeves takes Mr. B down. The body shots from the 417 going to click out. Now puts us into a 4v3. Solus goes down, and this is getting a little bit desperate now as the double rings out. It's a 4-2 scenario on the body count, and it is tough for the defense. They've got to hold on for such a long time, right? There's so much opportunity for this attacking team to get their drones in, take a second look, still mount that pressure while getting just a bunch of free intel. Dots from Blue as they get the Twitch drone off the board, but that now, of course, reveals the location that they're sitting in there. So the pressure from Trench going to start to mount. Minute and 26 left to go, and it's a desperate situation for Loyalty is
Attackers
Scarce.
bomb diffuser has been dropped.
Desperate indeed. Wow. 6-3, and oh no, a triple there from Repas. It is all down to Mike W. Kidding me with a minute and 11 left? No! Too little, too late.
4-piece, baby. They seal it up, and it only takes 2 to get it done.
7-3 victory for Garage Talks, the winner of not only this map, but the quarterfinal map as well. Boy, coming on strong when they needed to. We said it was an exact same scoreline that we saw between these two teams on that previous map, but boy, my friend, Garage Talks showing up when they needed to. Loyalty is Scarce, unfortunately, going to have to fight it out in the lower bracket, and along with a couple other teams, too. We've seen almost all of the quarterfinal games are already done. The Bay Harbor Butchers beat the Passion Stack 2-0 to advance to the semifinals. ADN Latam won their game against TRG V2, and now Garage Talks filling out that semifinal position to take on the ADN Latam team. So it's only Bands Coast and Team Sesh, which was over on Galumalu's stream, finishing out there. So unfortunate if you're a Loyalty is Scarce fan, but big congratulations, big GGs to Garage Talks for winning their quarterfinal game here in the Element 2 Open Qualifier.
Yeah, no kidding. It was a banger. It was a best of 3 that only needed 2 to get it done. And man, That was, oh man, I really thought we were starting to see that comeback
I know
mounting,
it.
right? I wanted a map number 3 so bad, Whiskey, because this is our only one that Siege Double Shot is bringing to you this evening, right? One best of 3 to claim it all. We will be raiding over to another one of the co-streamers' channel, and I'll probably be hanging out either in the chat or in the VC with them, keeping the dream alive for the Siege Double Shot and getting that ever-present and always needed R6. But we just wanted to say a huge thank you to the follows, the subs, and to hanging out with us here for this qualifier number 2 for Element 4. It's been an absolute blast. You guys are all so goated, and we just appreciate hanging out with you.
Yeah, so we know that the Element 4 kicking off, the rest of the games finishing up tonight and tomorrow for the qualifiers. We'll know by tomorrow evening who is all making it into the Element 4 season, which starts on Tuesday and continues throughout the week. The next time you'll see us this weekend, SI Open qualifiers happening on Challenger mode, and so sign your team up, same as you did here for Element 4. If you didn't get in for Element 4, it's time to fight it out for SI Last Chance Qualifier. We're going to get a chance to bring you some of those games here next weekend as well. So appreciate everybody joining us here for Element 4 for our coverage here, but really looking forward to those SI Last Chance Qualifiers as well.
That's right. So we have come, folks, to the end, the dreaded part of the evening where we must, alas, bid you adieu. As the lights start to dim and the jukebox starts to sing closing time, as always, my friends, you don't have to go home.
But you can't stay here.
Heyo.
Let's go.